Do you want curls like this? That was so
Do it again. You were still stroking it when she turned around, but it was good. But do it again.
Okay. Do you want awesome curls just like this? Watch my tutorial to see how. Hi everyone, it's April with Hair 101. I'm going to show you how to do a perm today. This is going to be a very, very long hair perm, and she wants more of like a big wave texture. So I'm using the Tressa Zone Control Buffered Acid Wave. This is an acid perm. There's two different kinds of perms. There's acid and then there's alkaline. This is my favorite perm. So I buy these in the case, and they come, the part A, they come in two separate things. So when you're ready to apply it, you pop the lid off of this and you mix these two together. And then this is the neutralizer. And this is supposed to last for 4 perms. So you just kind of like use the neutralizer down to the next line. Since her hair is so long, I'm going to be using 2 perms today. And then I'll probably use half of this bottle. So you'll need the perm. This is again the Acid Tressa Zone Control. And then you have to have some of these end wraps. And then you need to have a rat tail comb. And I don't like using metal combs for perms because they can scratch the head. And with putting the chemical on the head, you don't want to have any scratches because it will burn them. I'm going to be using these perm rods. These are Ethalock brand, and they're pink and the neutral. I'm going to use the neutral down by her neck, and then the pink and the orange. These are just orange regular rods. I'm going to alternate these on the top so that she has a little bit of variation in her curl. These ones, if they break, you just have to throw them away. What I like about the Ethalock ones, they're a little bit more expensive, but if this breaks on them, you can buy replacement elastics, and then you just pop them back on. They're really, really easy to fix. And these will last you a lot longer. So it's worth the money if you're going to be doing a lot of perms to invest in the Ethalocks. And then you're going to need a plastic bag or a shower cap. I'm going to be using 2 of these plastic bags. So now I'm going to show you how to do a chemical drape. This is different than just a regular hair cutting or coloring drape because you're going to have a lot of the perm chemicals dripping down onto their shoulders. So I'm going to just tie her hair up with a plastic clip. And then, so I put a towel down on her shoulders, and then I'm going to take this piece of plastic and I'm just going to wrap it around, and then I'm going to put the cape over the towel on the plastic. So this is going to make sure that her clothes don't get soaking wet. And then the cape also helps protect with that too, but the more protection you have, the better. You don't want it to get too thick though, because when we dump her or lean her back into the bowl, we're going to need to have her neck close against the bowl. And then I just stick another towel over the top, and then I stick a clip in there just to keep it. So this is a neck strip, and technically you are supposed to use a neck strip or a new cape on every client. This is a new cape, but I'll just show you how to use the neck strip. So this protects the client from touching the cape that's been around someone else's neck. So you would just wrap that around, make sure there's no hair in it, there you go. And then you put the towel and the plastic on, and then you would, there we go. So there is our chemical drape. Okay, so then once you have that done, you're going to part the hair, and I'm just going to show you a basic wrap. I'm just going to do the mohawk section and the sides. You can do several different ones. You can do a brick pattern where you do like 1 in the front and then 2. Well, actually, do you want to do a brick instead? Then you don't have as many like the same part lines. It's more random. Okay, yeah, let's do the brick. We're going to do a brick laying pattern on her. So we're going to part the middle section. Now, when you're doing this, you make the partings the same size as the rod, and you don't want to go too far out because then the hair will fall out. You want to have it just a little bit shorter than the rod, but then the same width as the rod. Let's measure. Okay. So I'm going to have her hold these perm rods and she's going to hand them to me and just alternate between the pink and the orange and also the end wraps. This is what I like to do. I like to keep a towel and I kind of spray the towel to keep it a little bit wet and then I rub my finger on it and that helps me to pick up just one end paper. Because if there's a little bit of moisture, you can grab onto those a little bit better. So I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to take the first parting. And make sure the hair is wet. So you want to be able to have clean partings. So you're going to take these perm wraps and you're going to sandwich it between the hair like this. I'm going to do it this long way because she has layers in her hair and so things will drop out. And you just smooth it up to the top and you want to make sure that the ends go past the top of the hair. And you're going to take your first perm rod. And this is very important to not... And I'm rolling this one forward towards her face. You do not want to fish hook those ends. They need to go smooth all the way underneath. And I'll show you on the next one what a fish hook is. And if you have any little ends, you can try to smooth them down. If they get too out of control, you can take another end wrap, lay it over, and then you can roll it with the comb back underneath to tuck it in and then continue down. You don't want to have to do that too much because if you get too thick then it would mess with the saturation. Alright, so then you don't want to have these little elastics. If they get too tight they will break the hair while you're perming it. So let me show you what too tight would be. So this is a band that would be considered too tight. Do you see how it pulls her scalp away? You want to make sure it's not doing that. You want to make sure that it's tight and holds it in place, but it's not changing how hard her hair is getting pulled from her scalp. So, alright, so then since we're going to be doing a brick pattern on the top, we're going to split the hair right in the middle. So this is a little bit too wide for one hair clip, so I'm going to let this little piece by her face drop. And then I'll use a small one down there with it. Okay, so we're going to pull this up. We're going to do pink actually. I'm going to do the whole first row pink. So this would be fish hooking it. If you tuck it in like that and there's still hair and then you fold it over, you're going to have this really bad bend in the perm and you don't want that. So you have to make sure that the ends, they tuck under it really smooth like that. We're going to go right in the middle of this top one and we're going to take a little bit bigger sections because the orange one is not wider. We're going to keep the same width, but the orange rod is a little bit bigger than the pink rod. So we're going to do, so I'm wetting it if the hair is a little bit layered or shorter pieces in there just to kind of have it stick together. And then I comb it out nice and smooth. Stick an end paper on. Pull it out all the way until it covers those ends. And then I'm going to go back with these ones. So the ones by her face I did forward, and now I'm going to do these back. And this is a little bit more tricky. You have to get that little circle in the end. There you go. And you want to make sure that these aren't twisted, these bands, because that will break hair too. And then right here, we're going to do another one. And you're just going to continue this pattern all the way down till you get to the back of her head. Okay, so I have these little short perm rods. These are awesome. I call them chubs. I'm pretty sure that's what we called them in hair school anyway. So I wrap the paper. It's for any little teeny pieces around the face or in the neckline if it's too skinny of a section. Use the smaller one. And you can spiral wrap that one up and then just pin it in place. Alright, so we have finished wrapping her hair. Okay, so you can get this at a beauty supply. It just comes in a big box and it's just a big roll of cotton. And so what you're going to do is you're going to tuck this underneath an ear. This will help protect their skin. And you're going to just kind of lightly tuck it underneath all the way around the face and then back underneath this ear. And then along the bottom. So this is going to sop up some of the extra processing solution. And then after we apply the processing solution, we are going to take that cotton off and replace it with fresh dry cotton, because we don't want that saturated cotton to sit on the skin because you could get chemical burns. So make sure you change out your cotton after you saturate. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my bottle. And then I'm going to twist the top off of this waving lotion part A and add it in to this part B. So go like this and you just squish it in and the bottle's going to get warm. And that's normal. That bit's getting hot. So these two chemicals, when they're mixed together, they make a chemical reaction and it heats it up. So then you're going to poke a hole in the top of your lid. And I like to do this before I stick it on the bottle because that heat it's going to create some pressure in there. And if you do it, it can squirt out if you put it on there first. So I always do it before. And then I just kind of lightly shake it with my finger over the hole. Okay, then I'm going to stick some gloves on. And I usually give my client a towel. This is for any drips. You can stick it up by your face. Don't let it get on your face or in your eyes. And then you're going to start by just saturating back and forth on these rods. And you want it to get pretty saturated. And you just kind of go back and forth until it soaks all the way down. And you can even lift the rods and do underneath. There you go. And you need to work as fast as you can. Yep, just go ahead and pat those drips. You can even just hold it up there if you want. And she has a lot of thick hair, so I'm definitely going to need 2 perms. And on the back of your perm, whatever one you use, it should tell you your processing time. Mine is 20 minutes. You can do a teeny bit more if you have resistant hair, if it's gray or really thick and long. Or you just have to make sure that the integrity of the hair is still there. You don't want to do perms if the hair is really, really colored or bleached or already breaking off or really fine. You have to be really careful with hair that's not super, super strong, just because this does go in and change the structure of the hair. It actually breaks the bonds, and then the neutralizer goes back in and reconstructs those bonds, and that's how you get the curl. And that's why it's permanent, is because you're changing the hair and how it's made, structured. Alright, I think we're getting close. So here is some new cotton. So carefully remove the old, and it should have quite a bit of perm solution on it. And we're going to wrap this around the hair. All the way around the perimeter, tuck it underneath the ears and up on the forehead. Now I have to wash my hands. I should have kept my gloves on for that. We're going to take a cap, a processing cap, and cover all of the rods. And this is going to keep the heat in because they need that heat to process. And she is looking like a hot mama now. Okay. And then you set a timer for 20 minutes. It has been... This stinks so bad. Okay. It has been 20 minutes and we are going to take a test curl and make sure that the hair is actually wavy. So the way you do this is you unwrap it a little bit and you kind of push, and you want to see this pattern like an S. It needs to look like an S. And since this is a really big rod, it's not going to be like super S. It'll just be like a soft S. And that's how you know that the solution actually did its job. So, and then we get to rinse this hair out for 5 whole minutes. Not 4 minutes, 5. You have to time this and do the entire thing. Make sure you get all of the rods, and you just kind of hold the end. It's best if you have a sink for this, you guys. This would be really hard at home. I know it's possible, but at least have one of the kitchen sink ones that come off. But you're going to hold this right against the rods, and it's going to blast that water through to wash out the perm solution. So we're going to lean her back, and I usually lay a towel on the floor right underneath, and then I always make sure that my chemical cape is over the end of this chair. So if water does come through and hit her, it will just roll off and it won't go underneath behind her and get her shirt wet. So that's what I'm doing. I'm putting a towel down there, the cape over the end of the chair, and then I'm going to lean her back. And I have to pump this chair up a little bit to get her neck tight against the bowl. Okay. Alright, so she's kind of pinned back here now. And you want to reach as far back and get their neck so all the rods are in there. I'm going to get this cotton out of here. So take the cotton off and throw it in the garbage. Okay, timer for 5 minutes, ready, set. Very warm water. Not going to burn anyone, just really warm. Okay, it bounces off the rods a little bit, so you kind of have to make a cup around your head or your hand. And just kind of guard it from their face. Is that too hot, Holly Jane?
It's a little warm.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. And then underneath, I lift it and just push it against all of the rods. And this is why you have to do the whole 5 minutes, because it's going to take that long to really get all of the rods that good anyway. I'm done rinsing her hair. I'm going to take salon towels and just blot the excess water out of each rod. And I just kind of hold it with both hands and gently squeeze it. And as soon as I get enough of it out to where I feel like she's not going to drip all over, then we can sit her up. Okay. Go ahead and sit up. See, there's a little bit of water on the floor. I don't think, are you soaking wet underneath there?
No.
Okay, good. So I'm going to go ahead and change this outside towel because it is soaking wet. The reason why we do this is hair is like a sponge. If the sponge is full, it can't absorb anything else. So we need to get some of the water out so that the neutralizer can go back in and recreate those bonds in the hair. If you were to pour the neutralizer on sopping wet hair, it wouldn't really get in there enough, and the hair wouldn't ever curl again. It would just kind of be limp. So make sure you get this really good. And it doesn't say that you have to do this on the instructions on the perm, but I always do. I always blot the rods, and then I always stick them underneath a hood dryer for 10 to 15 minutes just to get some more of the moisture out. And the chemical's off of the hair now, so it's safe to do that. You can put them under the dryer until the hair is dry if you wanted to. And it just gives you more room for the neutralizer to really saturate the hair. And that's what's going to really hold this perm in, is how you do the neutralizer, because right now the bonds in the hair, the disulfide, or what are they? I don't even know. It starts with a D and there's bonds, and it's been a long time since I went to hair school, so maybe that's the quiz. What are the bonds that are changing when you're doing a perm? Leave a comment for the answer. Oh well, I gotta dust this. This is bad. So I'm just gonna stick her underneath this dryer for 5 to 10 minutes maybe, until the hair starts to burn off. No, just until the hair is a little bit more dry. Alright, we're gonna neutralize her hair. You just take this bottle and like saturate every single perm rod. So you want to just use a lot of this stuff. That's why they do this handy dandy ginormal bottle. Okay, lean back. Yeah, tilt this way. You don't have to do this in the sink. You could have them sitting up just how you applied the perm solution, but I like to be fast and messy and just saturate it all in there. Is it burning you? Ow! Dolly just starts crying, runs away crying. Okay, this is my favorite part. We get to take all of the rods out. The neutralizing solution's still in there. You just take them all out. See this pretty curl? Look at it. Yay! And I just let them drop into the bowl. I got all of her hair out of the rods. I'm just going to give the rods a quick rinse and then put them on a towel to dry. And I get the papers off of them this way. Okay, so now my rods are ready to throw on a towel. So here's her beautiful curls, if you want to get in this bowl. See all of her pretty curls. I'm just working a little bit more of the neutralizer through it, and I'm just kind of crunching it up. And making sure that it's everywhere. Now we get to rinse them out for 5 minutes. So set a timer for 5 minutes and start to rinse with warm water. Yeah, go. And I always start at the top, around the face. We are donezo. We are done with her perm. It is the fun part. We get to style this baby. Okay, so you're not going to want to brush through this unless you use a wide tooth pick. And you can just kind of lightly go through it. It shouldn't be ratted or anything. And then, here, sit up all the way. We are going to put some curling product in it. See these like big, pretty curls? So we are going to stick this curly, sexy hair curl mousse in her hair. It's like a spray mousse. And I'm going to do a little bit of the shaping lotion. And then we're going to dry it with our diffusers. And then she will be all done. And we'll show you the after. Your hair was pretty healthy. I wasn't worried about it. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. I hope that you liked our perm. This is the end result. Do a little spin here. Big loose curls. And we had a lot of fun. It took us a really long time, like 3 or 4 hours. But we're done now. Thanks for watching, and please make sure you subscribe to my channel, and you will get videos weekly emailed to you straight from YouTube land. I'm losing my mind. And we will see you next time. Bye.